Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hello and welcome to the video wrap-up show for the Shrimp Tank podcast here in Seattle. I'm Dan Whedon, and I'm joined by my co-host, Craig Swanson. We had a fascinating, fun, and adventurous conversation today with our guest, Aaron Edward. To catch the entire episode, and you really should, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find every single one of our episodes on our website at shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle.
Aaron, thank you for joining us today. It's been a really great conversation. For those of you that did not have a chance to listen yet, go check out that episode. Aaron, you are running one of the biggest residential painting companies in Seattle. I just wanted to kind of have you give us a little bit of your story about what your company is today, how you got here, and just kind of share what you do right now.
So I started out, I never had a regular job. My first experience in the painting business was an internship with freshman year of college with College Works Painting. And then I went out on my own after that, just painting a few houses the first year, and then a little bit more. And then it was just a lifestyle business at first, just working in the summer, making money. And then I would go travel around in the off season, 6 months on, 6 months off kind of deal. And got into a lot of adventures with traveling around New Zealand or Europe, and then skiing or kite surfing. So then a few years ago, I started getting more interested in scaling the business up, and then got connected with some guys. Actually, it's interesting how it happened. So I was thinking like, I should just meet some other contractors and like try and get some more information on like what the other guys are doing. So I reached out to one guy locally that I knew from this message board, like painttalk.com. And he's like, yeah, you don't really want my advice, I don't think. I'm like about to retire. I'm not really interested in scaling up the business, but you should join this other Facebook group. So I joined this Facebook group, and then there's some like higher level people in there. And then I connected with this one guy, and then he posted something saying like, hey, does anyone want to go to this industry conference in Sedona? And I thought, well, that sounds boring to go to an industry conference with a bunch of painters. They're probably a bunch of like lame dudes, But I do want to go to Sedona, so I was like, whatever. And plus, this guy seems kind of cool, so I'll go to Sedona just to check it out. Good excuse to go to Sedona. So we went a few days early and hiked around the Grand Canyon and Sedona, and got to know this guy. And his name is Garrett, and he was like running the same business model as me. Excuse me. But he was doing it like 5 or 6 times the scale of me, and making like $1 million a year in profit in his pocket. And that just made me think, wow, this guy, we're both doing the same thing. He doesn't seem like he's working that much harder than me. He doesn't seem significantly smarter. He's a couple of years younger. And up until that point, I had kind of just assumed contractors were like this, had this idea of like this, like, 50-year-old dude with like really loves the craft of painting and has all these employees. But this guy was like a business dude who like has an MBA and like didn't really care about painting, and it was more interested in the business aspect of it. So I was able to kind of like see myself in him and be like, oh, I didn't know that you could do it like this. And he had scaled his business up pretty fast. So that's what inspired me to go to the next level.
And the next level is an adventure. And what I learned from you in preparing for the podcast and then talking with you is adventuring is a main part of your life. And one of the real reasons you want to scale your business is so that can advance. Define for everybody what adventuring is, at least for you, and tell us a little bit about a new project coming up around that.
So I had a history of adventuresome pursuits. Like, it was more earlier in my career when I was working kind of half the year and adventuring half the year, and getting super into skiing and big mountain skiing and kite surfing. And now I'm into ultra running. But I think as far as adventure goes, the part of it is like the adventure of scaling up the company is kind of like my new focus. Like instead, like before, like literally like my number one priority was skiing and like seeing if I could become a pro skier, seeing like how good at skiing I could become. And like, that was my focus. So, and then my business was just kind of a way to fund that. And now that I've evolved as a person, I see like the most upside and the most growth. Like what I'm most interested in is seeing like what will happen when I grow this business to 100 million, and like what will happen after that, what opportunities will I have. And then me launching a podcast is another kind of adventure that I'm delving into, and talking to founders, CEO, visionaries about what's been their experience, like creating some grand vision and it's like some amazing thing, what inspires them to go out there and create something big. Because it's not just the money that inspires these visionaries, like Steve Jobs. I read his biography. He talks about making a dent in the universe. If you think about what he did to like totally revolutionize how we behave and like our day-to-day life with the iPhone, and like all the smartphones that are basically like iPhones now based on his design, like in the app store, and like now you can order Ubers, like all the infrastructure that got built off of the iPhone. Like that's what he means by making a dent in the universe. So I don't know if I'm going to be like a Steve Jobs type visionary where I'm like doing things at that scale, but even if it's just like at a smaller scale or like opening people's minds to what's possible, it's like those kind of visionaries is that's what's interesting to me, and that's what I want to build an audience around that and see what where that adventure takes me.
Great. Well, Aaron, thank you for being a guest here on the Shrimp Tank today. For our listeners that want to kind of track you and kind of follow you on your own adventure for making your own dent, where can they get more information? Where they can hear about the new projects?
You can follow me on social, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Aaron V Edward, Aaron, and then V is in Victor. Aaron's AARON, V is in Victor, and then Edward. That's across all platforms.
All right, fantastic. And for those of you watching, make sure you check out this full episode at shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle, or wherever you get your podcast. iHeartRadio, Apple, Google, I use Overcast. And please follow us on our show social media pages, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Well, Aaron, thank you very much for joining us. I love your story. I love what you're doing. I love where you're going with it. And I can't wait to follow you and learn more and catch your podcast as well. Craig, thanks as always. We're actually going to have you back next week for our next show. So thanks again for doing what you do as a co-host. Everyone, if you enjoyed this video, then go down and click like and subscribe below. Also, check out our patron membership page that's filled with exclusive content to help you grow your business and enrich your life. Go to patreon.com/ShrimpTankSeattle. And join us every week at 12 p.m. Pacific for our live stream broadcast on our Facebook page. Our next show will be on July 5th. Hope to see you then. Until we meet again, be safe, be well, be prosperous, and be adventuresome. Because for right now, the shrimp is back in the tank. So long.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp